Do you like cosplay making at your friend's house or been to a con, but part of your costume is broken and you need an emergency repair kit? Worry no more, because today I'm taking you through my travel cosplay kit. I'm Kenny and this is my cosplay stuff. Before we start, full disclosure, this video is sponsored by Dremel, but I would not recommend any of the tools that I would not use myself. First of all, we have to talk about toolboxes. I've been through a lot of toolboxes. Hopefully, by the end of this, you'll be able to decide for yourself which one suits you best. First up, we have the very simple toolbox. This is anything you can get for as cheap as possible. It pretty much is a box for your tools. It's not great, not many compartments. I would not recommend this one. Next up, we have this one from Amazon called Keta Technician something. It's alright, it's pretty indestructible. You can sit on it, stand on it, and the best thing about this is that it has this little box inside that fits right in here for all your little bits and bobs. I don't really use this one anymore because it's a little bit too small for my needs. Next, we have this one. It's a fairly standard toolbox. It's got some detachable boxes on the top, another compartment up here, and it's got the fancy multi-tiered system on here with more compartments on the inside. The reason why I don't use this anymore is because it's a little bit heavy and clunky to carry around, and the big compartment at the bottom just mixes all my tools up and it does get confusing real quick. Finally, we have my current toolbox. This is one I picked up from Homebase, STANLEY flat packs. I think Max or something. I'll put a link in the description below. The reason why I love this so much is because it's got the flappy output compartments, which opens up. It's got my big tools on the inside and smaller tools in different smaller compartments, which is completely adjustable on the inside. First off, I always carry drugs with me. Not that kind of drugs. Drugs are bad and carry. Just some paracetamol and some ibuprofen, so it would last you through the day if you get a headache or something like that. Next, I have some bandages. These are for cosplay. One of the costumes do require bandages, but it's always good to have in case you hurt yourself somehow. Obviously, this can't be a sponsored video without some sponsored products. We have the Dremel Micro, which is basically a mini Dremel that is wireless. Oh, and it's got a light on it. Then we have the Dremel soldering iron. This is a butane soldering iron. That means it's wireless, and all you have to do to change tips is just twist it off, what it's called, to a hot knife tip or just a normal soldering iron tip, and you can achieve so much detail with these tips. We now have the Dremel 940, which is a high temperature glue gun. It's got this awesome little kickstand, a detachable cable, which is great for storage, and a little on-off switch that tells you when the glue gun's on. A lot of the glue guns that I've had didn't have a switch on, and I often leave it overnight because I forget it's on, and it starts blowing the fuses. I have a lot of Sharpies and paint pens in here. This paint pen from Artist for Marker is amazing because I do a lot of foam stuff, and when the paint chips off, all I have to do is whip this out, dab it a little bit, and it just looks more like it's not broken, it's battle damage. And don't forget to pack tissues. Next, we have the squirty outy liquids. We have the standard super glue, this Black Witch Neoprene adhesive, which is for some really quick fixes. Last of the squirty outy liquids, we have this thing called electric paint. It's amazing for little fixes on your electronics. This is basically a squirty outy conductive material. You just squirt it on a surface and your electronics will conduct through the both ends. This stuff actually saved me on a couple of competitions where it was deemed unsafe to work out a soldering iron on the con floor. All I did was squirt some electric paint on the connectors, wrap it around with tape, and there we go. Speaking of tape, always carry some duct tape with you. All I've done here is I've just rolled up some duct tape and stuck it to itself, and it saves space, and I can just chuck it in there. Don't forget the electrical tape as well, because that will always come in handy. Maybe not for yourself, but for someone else as well. There are some non-essential stuff in here, for example, some dust masks if you want to do some sanding or whatever, latex gloves if you want to get up to some frisky business, and some makeup that matches my skin tone just in case I want to cover up some of the pimples that you can't really avoid on the day. Then we have a couple of bags of brass buckles because I have a lot of leather strap-ons, and one of these clips in case some of the nylon strapping break on the inside. Another unusual thing that I pack is one of these volty testing thingy-majiggies. Basically, if you have a loose wire or something and you don't know what's quite broken, you can pass some voltage on with these two ends and it will tell you if the wires are connected or something like that. I'm no electrician if you can't tell. And last but not least, these essential tools that I always carry around include a sewing kit, which is just a cheap one off eBay. It's got some scissors, some threads, some needles, and it's pretty basic really. Don't forget the scissors, the pencils, the rulers, the cable ties, all go in as the essential lot. And don't forget to pack extra on your consumables like glue sticks and lots of blades if you don't have a blade sharpener. Speaking of blades, don't forget your blade handles. I've got this one. It's very basic, but it does the job and it's extremely comfortable. I've got a scalpel as well for all that detailed work. It's really good to get in those corners to clean up your build. Last but not least, if you have some, don't forget your box of business cards, because everybody loves plugging their social media these days. Anyways, if you like this content, drop me a like and subscribe. And if I haven't been cancelled already, you can find me on social media at Kenny Cosplay Stuff on all platforms. Well, that's pretty much my toolkit. If I have missed anything that you think's important, drop me a comment on the comment section below. Until next time, I'm Kenny from Kenny Cosplay Stuff. Thanks for watching.